first and foremost, I want to start off giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Wakrakudash. Double honor to the apostle of Great Middlestone and the elders who taught me that send truth. Peace and safety to the brothers out there pushing this truth unto the four corners. Right, so back again with another video. I'm probably name this about Israel. Israel should have listened. All right, Israel was warned, as we warned Israel. All right, I'm going to show you a clip. It's about Trump and his 100 days in office, but he's targeting Israel. He's targeting the Latino community, northern tribes. I'll play this real quick.
And those who did use CBP-1 legally are getting letters saying it's time to leave. Immigrants are always told, follow the law, enter the right way, do things quote-unquote the right way. And then here they go and they do it, and then they're getting the rug pulled out from under them. That's just one avenue by which Trump is carrying out his crackdown.
You can't come in the house. You don't have a warrant.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement says the agency has deported more than 65,000 people in the first 100 days, focused on those with criminal convictions, but drawing backlash for arresting those without.
It's cruel, and it's unjust, and it's inhumane.
Those removals are happening in concert with a major shift at the border, San Diego at the center of it all. Border Patrol reports just 29,000 encounters in March, a tenth of the monthly totals 1 year ago.
Sir, this is a proclamation to...
You know, the Israelite lady that just spoke, it's cruel, it's inhumane, it's unjust, right? But you know, because it's her dad, so she's sorrow. And, you know, that's what we're living in. You know, the time of sorrow. Matthew 24. But at the same time, let's get Matthew 24. Matthew 24 and 8. All of these are the beginning of sorrows. And then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and they shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And this is persecution. So they're going to deliver us up like they're doing now. Doing to the northern tribes. They're delivering the northern tribes up. People are calling ICE on them and getting them removed out their house. All right? That's to be afflicted. All right? And this is part because Israel didn't want to listen. All right? The Lord said he was bringing siege upon you, and you didn't listen. All right? So you got the warning. And when the Lord brings the sword, you know, the blood is off our hands. We got to get the blood off. That's warning you is getting the blood off. So when we warn you and tell you what's coming, the destruction's coming, just get the blood off our hands. We tell you this because the Lord loves you, and He warns those who He loved before it happens. He doesn't. Amos 3:7. You know, and Nate, the Lord doesn't do anything without He reveals His secrets to a service to prophets, right? So, you know, this lady is crying and all, but that's because they should have listened. All right, and not doing things the right. The Lord is a just God. So if you enter this country illegally and not going through paperwork, you're going to face justice. You're gonna face the judge. You're gonna face the law. All right. If you think you can get away with it, you're not. You know, you can't get away with stealing. You can't get away with murder. You can't get away with none of that stuff. Yeah, you might got away, but it's gonna catch back up to you. All right. So, you know, this lady was sad, and you know, she was sad her dad was taken away, but he should have just went through the process of the right way. And that's what Israel is. Israel is rebellious. Matter of fact, let's talk about Israel. Let's get Israel. Israel is heifer. Hosea 4:16, for Israel slided back as a backsliding heifer. So Israel slides back all the time. The northern tribes, they do good and they start sliding back. You know, the Spanish community. All right. And that's what the Lord said. Israel slided back as a backslider. Backsliding for Israel slided back as a backsliding heifer. Now the Lord will feed them as a lamb in a large place. All right. And the Lord is feeding them judgment right now. All right. Because, judgment begins 1 Peter 4:17. 1 Peter 4:17. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of God. I mean, that's the house of Israel, starting at the Latinos and the Native American and Negroes. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God? All right, and that's destruction. So judgment is beginning at this house of Israel, and the Lord faces us first through His wrath and His judgments. All right, and that's what's going on now with the Spanish community. The time of trouble, the Jacob's trouble is here. All right, is approaching quickly. Jeremiah 30. Jeremiah 30:7, verse 6. Ask ye now and see whether a man do travail with a child. Because men are going to be afraid at this time. Wherefore do I see every man with his hand on his lions as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned to paleness, because of they see what's coming. They see the judgments is coming. All right, these people are scared to leave their house. Some of these immigrants, some of Israel. For it shall come to pass in the day, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, of armies. Matter of fact, verse 7, Aslakia. At last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, which we read in Matthew 24. They shall afflictions. We're gonna be persecuted. Some of us are gonna go to jail. Some of us, they're gonna throw us in prison. All right, they're gonna hate us. So it's the time of Jacob's trouble. For even the time of Jacob's trouble, he shall be saved out of it. All right, because the Lord gave Israel the time to repent. He gave them time to have fun. Now it's not a time for laughing and dancing. It's a time of mourning. All right, so this is the time he talked about. There's a purpose and season there's a purpose and season under the heaven, and this is the time and purpose for Israel, for trouble to come upon Israel. All right, for judgment. It says he shall be saved out of it. Thus the chosen, the elect, Israel, the elect, the chosen out of the nation of Israel will be saved. All right. The devil Revelation 2:10. The New International Version. Do not be afraid of what you are about to suffer, because the Lord said after these pestilence and earthquakes and all this stuff, various places, guess what? That's when persecution is going to happen. So he says, do not be afraid of what you're about to suffer, which is persecution. I tell you, the devil will put some of you into prison to test you, and you will suffer persecution for 10 days. Be faithful unto the point of death, and I will give you life as your victor's crown. So when we get persecuted for the Lord's name, going out on these highways and byways, we must accept it, embrace it, and be faithful. All right. Because when this MOTB comes, that's a whole different story. We're going to be definitely the ones that rejected will be ones to put to death. All right. The Lord says, count it joy. James 1:2. James 1 verses 2. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. So when we get into these tribulations, all hell breaks loose. We're getting thrown in jail. Count it joy, and it's the purpose of it is to try our faith, and it's going to work patience, because we still have to wait until the Lord delivers us. All right. So count it joy. Count joy when these afflictions come in Israel. If you know, count joy. Judah, count joy. The nation of Israel should count joy because it's going to try our faith, and we're going to get a crown of life if we stay faithful. All right. So Israel is also destroyed for lack of knowledge, but hopefully, Lord willing, if you're part of the elect, you listen to these videos and you hear the word and it resonates with you, and you get comfort by the word, because the word is the comforter, and we need comfort in the time of sorrow. All right, and that's which is thy word. In the time of darkness, we need light, and that's this word. All right, we need the word of the Lord, because if we didn't, the Lord says. Proverbs 29:18, where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keeps the law, happy is he. All right. So this vision is this word. It shows us what's going to happen from the beginning to the end. This is the word. The word is the vision. So when there's no vision, when you don't have the word, people perish. But he that keepeth the law, happy is he. So if you see, Israel don't keep the law. So when they come to this country and illegally, by not keeping the law, by lawfully going through the process, then you're gonna go through sorrow, because the law is gonna catch up to you. But it says, happy is he that keepeth the law, right? Happy is he. So if you're doing the right thing, keeping the law, if you're abiding by the law, you're gonna be happy, because you know that there's nothing that you have to look over your shoulder about, because you're doing things the right way. And that's the same way Israel has to be. If you're going to follow the law, make sure you're following it to your best capabilities. All right? Whether it's the Lord's statutes and commandments or the laws of this society, you must keep the laws. All right? If there's no stop sign and you run a light and you get into trouble, you're not going to be happy. But if you follow the law and does what the law tell you, meaning you see a red light, stop at a red light. All right, do what you're supposed to do. But Israel don't want to do that. All right, so sorrow is coming upon Israel right now, and it's going to come upon the whole nation. But because Judah don't keep the laws with the gun laws and all this stuff, having guns and they murder. All right, all Israel is going to feel it. All right, but it's starting at the Latino tribes, the northern tribes, and that's how it usually was, because the northern tribes went into captivity first by the Edomites and the Syrians, and then Judah and Benjamin went into captivity with the Levites. So history repeats itself. The Negroes are the so-called the tribe of Judah. They're going to receive judgment, but the northern tribes usually are the ones that receive it first. All right, because their sin is higher. All right, so yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna title this video, but Israel's judgment, or judgment of Israel, or Israel's judgment, because the Lord requires He gave the law to Israel. Ecclesiastes 45:17. He gave unto him his commandments, Moses, and authority in the statutes of judgments, that he should teach Jacob the testimonies and inform Israel in his laws. So Moses was given the law to inform the Israelites about his testimonies and about the laws of Israel. But if you don't follow the law, the Lord said all of these curses and judgments are going to happen upon you. All right, so maybe I'll make a whole video about the laws of the Lord, because just we have the laws of the land. The Lord gave us, the Israelites in the wilderness, the laws of the land before they received their promise. Like when you get a business, you run a business, you have to know the law first, because if you have a business, if the Lord's promised you to get a business, you have to know the laws of the business and how things work and the rules, because if you don't know the rules, you could violate that gift, that precious gift that's supposed to generate you and your family wealth, and you could violate something and get into trouble. The Lord doesn't want us to get in trouble. All right, He wants us to stay trouble free. How do you stay trouble free? By following the law. How do you follow it? You must learn and be informed about it first. All right, and be informed about the Lord's laws, is reading His book, His Bible. All right, you might have to search up laws of the land to learn about the business or something like that. It's the same way. If you want to learn the Lord's laws, you search in His Word, as He tells us. All right, so it's important to follow the law. All right, the law was given. It was given for the unlawful. All right, so most Israelites, when they get in trouble, that's when they learn the law, but they become lawyers and stuff because they're experts of the law because they broke the law and they want to learn about it. And that's how it should be, because you're supposed to learn, but you shouldn't take you to get arrested to learn about the law and learn about the Lord. It's like most Israelites find the Lord, look for the Lord and seek the Lord when they get arrested. Most Israel. They start calling upon the Lord and stuff when they in jail. But yeah, so these judgments are from the Lord, and His laws are good. They're perfect. All right, and it's for your sake. So it's like having a stop signs there so you don't crash into other car. So there could be some type of order. If there was no stop signs and no red lights or any of that stuff, or no law, it would be complete lawlessness, and it would be complete chaos. You'd be crashing into different cars. It wouldn't be no communication. There wouldn't be no order. All right, so laws are good for the land. All right, and it keeps a standard and it keeps a good behavior. All right, so I'll read this again. Ecclesiastes 45:17. He gave unto him his commandments, which is Moses, and authority in his statutes and judgments, that he should teach Jacob the testimonies and inform Israel in his laws. All right, what are the testimonies? The testimonies are when the Lord delivered us out of Egypt back then. That's the testimonies. The whole generation should have been able to testify to their children about how good the Lord is and what He did for them in the wilderness, and what He did for them by delivering them out of the hand of Egypt and Pharaoh. Those were the testimonies. They should have passed down from generation to generation in the law, and that was the whole purpose. But Israel rebelled in the wilderness and did not want to listen. Maybe I'll do a lesson on that. That's another lesson. Israel rebelling in the wilderness. All right. So with that being said, I want to say shalom and catch you in the next video.